Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Uh, Today I'm going to talk about Amazon QA1 interview process. You can see the entry level QA interview. In today's video, we're gonna cover the requirements for this role, what Amazon expects from a QA1 candidate, the different rounds that happen as part of this interview process, a brief about each of the round and the common pitfalls which we should try to avoid. By the end of this video, you'll have complete clarity on what Amazon expects from a QA event and how you should prepare for it. In the upcoming videos, we're gonna dive deep into each of these rounds with the examples so that you guys know what are the different varieties of question asked, how to answer them, and how to make yourself stand out from the plethora of candidates already applying in Amazon. So, a brief introduction about myself. My name is Kapil and I work as a quality assurance manager with Amazon. I have over 50 plus interview experience with Amazon, where I've taken interviews both for ICs and the quality assurance managers. Along with it, I've been involved in different kind of interviews for both QA and SDET job family, be it a entry level or a senior level candidate. So I have a pretty decent idea that what are the different rounds that happen, what are the expectations from the interviewer, as I have been on both sides of the table. So speaking about the QE1 job interview process, before even starting with the interviews, the obvious question comes that how do I get shortlisted in Amazon itself? And that itself is a tricky task. Me being an engineering manager, I receive more than 100 plus resumes each time I post a QA1 job rec in our company. Reason being, there are tons of QA candidates and really good candidates out there, but not all of them have done the work which is expected from a QA1 in Amazon. So how you should prepare your resume is the first thing which we should try to answer so that you get shortlisted. Again, what we are trying to talk about is here that what are those core competencies that should be part of your resume or that you should have already worked on. It doesn't mean that you put those things irrespective of having you have you worked on them or not. So let's be honest in our resume creation and make sure we put only those things that we have worked on, because sooner or later in the Amazon's rigorous interview process, those things will surface out. So the primary quality is the testing aptitude, and that's the core competency of a QA1 job family as well. That how's your testing aptitude? Are you able to think out of the box? Are you able to come up with the test scenarios from a customer perspective? Second thing would be the coding capability. By coding, it does not necessarily mean that you should be an expert in writing excellent code in whatever language is given to you. By coding, it's mainly on the problem solving side, and you should have a working proficiency in any of the language of your choice. And the third thing is the experience. For a QA1, Amazon generally requires 1 to 2 years of experience after graduation. Amazon rarely goes to campus to hire QAs. Usually these are the lateral hires. So you need to show some experience, mostly 1 to 2 years, to meet the bar for the experience requirement for this job family. So if you feel that you have all these points already highlighted in your resume in the from some of the other project, then there is a good chance that your resume will get shortlisted in Amazon. Also, try to apply to Amazon through a referral. If you have someone working internally in Amazon, there are high chances that your resume will get noticed by recruiter if that person refers you, rather than you applying through Career Job Portal. Obviously, Career Job Portal is the preferred way. That's how it helps the company to manage the incoming resume load. But yeah, referrals always help. So feel free to reach out to internal Amazon employees who are your friends or acquaintances who can refer you inside Amazon, and there are good chances that if you meet all these 3 points, then you'll get shortlisted for the interview. Now the next part is the interview process. So Amazon's interview process consists of 4 rounds. The first round is the test case creation, test data generation, and some questions around Amazon's leadership principle. We'll briefly talk about Amazon's leadership principle a bit later. Second round would usually be around your debugging skills and your problem solving skills, along with another leadership principle. Your third round would be the coding round, where you would be either given a problem to code, or you will be given a data structure question, and then you would be required to answer that. The fourth round would be the bar raiser round. So this is a very peculiar Amazon round where you would be meeting a seasoned Amazon interviewer who has done more than 200 or 300 interviews, would be evaluating you on overall competencies. He or she could evaluate you on testing aptitudes, on different Amazon leadership principles, or coding. Basically, that person is there to make sure that you are raising the bar for this role when you come to Amazon, and then you are better than 50% of the already existing QA1 employees inside Amazon. So that's a very peculiar Amazon way of making sure that the bar in the company does not go down with each incoming candidate. So let's first talk about the Amazon's leadership principles. There are 40 leadership principles in Amazon. The whole company works around them. Every decision made in the company is some or the other way inspired by these leadership principles. So it becomes important for you to go through these leadership principles. You can easily Google them out. A few of the principles which are frequently asked in Amazon interview process is deliver results, learn and be curious, customer obsession, etc. You will never really know that around which leadership principle the interviewer is asking you the question. But if you have gone through these leadership principles in detail, you would be able to catch that which leadership principle is being evaluated, and then you can mold your answer according to that. Again, it becomes very important that you try to find some data points from your existing work against each of these principles, so that you are comfortable answering these questions in the interview. Also, please make sure that you don't try to create some fake examples just for the sake of it, because each of the example which you quote, interviewer would be diving deep into that example and would be cross-questioning you on multiple aspects, and then it becomes very easy for us to catch a candidate who is just kind of bluffing in terms of the work which they have done. So as I said earlier, let's be honest with whatever answers you give. Even if you don't have any answer for a particular questions, be honest about you don't know it, and then you will never be penalized for it, because it's not always possible that every candidate has an answer for each and every question. What's important is that you are being honest, you try your best with whatever knowledge and experience you have, and then rest is on the interviewer. So please go through these 40 leadership principles, and they will really help you in the interview process. Now let's start with the first round, which is on the test case enumeration and test data generation. So as the name suggests, in this round you are expected to give the test cases for any scenario which interviewer has asked. The scenarios could be any real life examples, or they could be anything related to the tech world, or it could be a example from the project you have already worked on. The whole idea in this round is to get to know how you can think about the test cases. Make sure that you first listen the question and ask the relevant questions before you jump into test case writing. I have seen many candidates who come prepared for this particular question, and they directly jump into the answers without even realizing that the interviewer purposely left some blind spots in the question which they expect you to question and then get them clarified. So be patient. First listen the question properly, ask the questions, make sure you understand the scope of the problem, and then go about answering it. The second question would be around the test data generation. So by test data generation we mean, suppose you have a WhatsApp image share functionality. Now the question could be that what is the test data with which you will try to test this functionality? So a lot of times candidates confuse this question with the test case creation, and they start with answering I should be able to share the image. I should not be able to share any PDF document or things like this, where what the interviewer expects is the test data. By test data we mean I'll try to share a JPEG file, or I'll try to share a PNG file, or maybe I'll try to club two files and then share. So what is that test data which you will use to test this system? So that's another important question that is always asked in Amazon interview process. It could be in first round, second round, doesn't matter. It could be clubbed with any other competency, but usually test data generation question is asked in the interview process. Now, the second round would be around debugging skills and problem solving. By debugging skills, you could be given any questions like you are trying to shop on Amazon and then you click on add to cart button and then suddenly you see that button is not working. Now, what are the steps you will take to debug and see that why it is not working? Maybe you'll check your internet connection is not working. So the answer could start from as basic as internet connection not working to as complex as I'll check the API response and see for the errors and different kind of things. You can also be caught off guard with a question like you're trying to save your Microsoft Word file, but somehow when you click on save, nothing happens. Now how you debug it? So the questions could be anything. Again, the point which you should keep in mind is understand the scope, understand what exactly interviewer is trying to get from you, and then go about how will you debug that problem. Don't always think from a person who has good tech knowledge. Think from a customer perspective, an end user who might be not knowing the technical nuances of an e-commerce, and then what they would do. Maybe they would try to open that particular button in a different browser, or they'll try to see on different devices. There could be multiple ways a person can try to debug an issue. So keep an open mind and then answer this question very carefully. The second question that will be asked would be around problem solving. Here you will be expected to answer a data structure question. Make sure you have brushed up your data structure algorithms well. The questions could be as simple as finding the second largest element or reversing a linked list, and could be complex around trees. But usually the expectation from interviewer here is that you are able to think through the solution, and if not get the exact solution, you have been able to at least disambiguate the problem and have made sufficient progress that it looks promising enough that if given another problem you will be able to solve it. So even if you don't know the question, try to ask some clarifying questions to understand it better. Or if you really feel that you are not familiar with linked list or trees, feel free to ask the interviewer to give you any other question. You are never penalized for asking a different question or for requesting interviewer to give you any other question. This is perfectly fine, but make sure whatever you ask for, you are prepared for it. So the third round would be around coding. As the name suggests, you will be asked to code a particular data structure problem, or you could be asked to write a functional test script or an API test if you have experience in that. So make sure that you brush up on your coding skills. You have at least a working proficiency in any of the language of your choice, be it Java, Python, or any other language. The whole objective is that you know how to code whatever you have claimed in your resume, that you have worked on Selenium WebDrivers, or you have worked with REST Assured, or you have worked with Postman. You are able to code questions around it. So whatever you have claimed in your resume, make sure that you know it, because in this round you would be asked to code from any of these areas. So yeah, be very sure that you brush up your coding skills. Again, the expectation from this round is not to write the top-notch production-ready code, because that's not the core competency of a QA1. But at least you should be having a working proficiency where you are able to give a basic testable code, if not a production-ready code. The fourth round would be a bar raiser round, as we have already spoken about it. In this round, you would be evaluated by a seasoned interviewer on any of the core competencies which have been evaluated earlier. It could be anything new around leadership principle or problem solving or coding. So this person would generally evaluate your overall fitment inside Amazon and from cultural fit perspective as well. So yeah, again, the key to this interview is keeping calm, making sure you understand what the interviewer is asking. Here the interviewers are very experienced. They give you ample time to answer the questions, but they do expect an answer. So don't panic. Take your time, understand the question, think about all the possibilities for the question that is being asked, and then try to answer. So the confidence is the key. If you keep the confidence, if you believe in your capabilities, and if you are prepared well, you should be easily be able to get through this round. So we have finally come to the end of 4 rounds. The last round would be the HR round, which would be mainly around discussing about compensation structure, what are your expectations, why you really want to move to Amazon, and things like this. People very seldom get rejected in this round, but yeah, again, having said that, this is also an important round where you should again be honest with your answers, and then you should be able to crack this as well. So these are the total 5 rounds that happen as part of Amazon QA1 interview process. Once these rounds are completed, usually there is a internal committee that is formed, and then they discuss the feedback from each of these interviewers, and then you are evaluated on each of the core competencies which this soft family has, and then finally a call is taken for the hire or a no hire call. So this whole process roughly takes about a month. In some cases it can stretch to 2 months. So this can be very time consuming, but keep your patience, prepare well, and you should be able to get through. So that's all for the today's videos, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something from this video. In the next video, we'll be talking about each one of these rounds in detail, understand what are the different kind of questions being asked, how do you answer them, and what are the common pitfalls. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and then see you next time.